Yo, what's up, guys? This is Diamond,
And I'm Josh from the band Tetrarch.
and we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
You guys basically are the definition of hustling. Like, you guys have been hustling with this project and with your music in general since you guys were super young. So getting to this position where you're at today, what would you say was the biggest challenge that you guys faced during that process?
I think I tell people all the time it was kind of learning to just kind of have confidence and like kind of bet on ourselves as a band instead of listening. Because so many people on this journey up talk in your ear. You have so many people telling you different things you should or shouldn't be doing, and what's right for your band and what's not. But I think it's like having the confidence to know what's right for your own band and know where you're going, and not knowing like how to sift through all the noise of what everybody else is saying. I think was a big one for us.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And just knowing, like, just echoing on that, just, we're a band that's always wanted to just kind of live and die on our own decisions. We don't let anybody cloud our minds, or regardless of what they say or tell us we should or shouldn't do. Like, ultimately, we do what we feel is best for Tetrarch and what we enjoy. So I think that has helped just kind of keep us on track and continue kind of, on an upward trajectory.
How amazing does it feel going from like having to sell like hundreds or 200 tickets in order to play a show? Because back then it was pay to play basically. And then now you have people like fans wanting to watch your band live. Like, what's that feeling like?
I actually said this to Josh the other day or something. I saw someone online like post like, if you need tickets, hit me up. We got, we need to sell 100 or something. And I looked at Josh and I was like, God, I'm so glad those days are over. I mean, like, it definitely was part of the journey. Every band has to go through it, so I'm not knocking it because it was a big part of our life for, the first few years. And I get it, but man, am I glad to have that behind us.
You're not hitting up the same 12 friends every other weekend to be like, hey, man, you buy some tickets. And yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely good to just kind of be able to, you're not paying anyone to play anything. You're getting paid to play. You're making a living doing what you love. And like, fans are resonating and coming and seeing you play without you having to harass them in their inbox. So it's good.
Now let's talk about Incarceration, because you guys played that a couple weeks ago. And, obviously there haven't been tours or performances in quite some time. So what was that experience like, and how did you guys feel about your set?
It was a lot of fun. Like we were out for a few days prior with the Treyu, like kind of doing a little warm-up run. And then, we hit ink. So it was like kind of dusting cobwebs off for the first few shows, like we hadn't played in 2 years, really, almost, right at 18 months. So it was like, but we're really anal about our live show. And like, I'm one of those people that I'm hard to please with a live show. Like every show I'm like, could have done that better. I'm just very much that person because I just believe in our live show a lot. So there's a little bit of that after ink for me, just like, but, I watched the show back, as we always do. And I was like, we kind of killed it. So it was fun later, right after, I was kind of being analytical about it, but it's definitely always fun to get back on stage and, see the crowd hyped, especially after the year everybody just had. So it was fun.
Oh yeah, it was a killer experience. And just being at that festival environment is always a good time. And, people were ready. They came to have fun, and the crowd off, kicking up dust everywhere. It's just happy to be back.
Yeah.
Now let's jump in and talk about Unstable, which is the sophomore record and another masterpiece from you guys. You guys went back into the studio with Dave Otero on this one. So I'm curious, like, how much the chemistry kind of changed from the first record to now.
I think we've grown a lot between the first record and now. I think, we always knew from the time we were done with Freak, we wanted to go back and work with Dave. Our chemistry is just really good together. He understands how we operate, how our band's set up. Just kind of like he knows what we like and how we like things to go. So we definitely knew we wanted to go back there. I think we gained a lot of confidence just as a band too between the two albums. So it was a lot easier for us to tell Dave to eat shit when he wanted us to do something we didn't want to do. But other than that, it was pretty much the same type of process, like because we've been working with Dave for a while, and we love him to death. He's literally like our big brother. Like we give him shit all day long, while we record. But
and after we're recording,
and after, yeah, we still to this day text him and like, do you miss us? Like, and he's like, no, not really. But it's really cool. Like he always has like super great ideas that we would have never thought of, and vice versa. So we just make a good team. But I think, like I said, the biggest thing for me personally would be the confidence that we gained between the two records. We grew tremendously between the two records. So when we came in there, it was a lot easier for us to like know exactly what we wanted and implement them than maybe before.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like Freak for us was very, I wouldn't say experimental, but it was at definitely a turning point for our band. I mean, we were always super thrashy or like very just like metalcore or something. And Freak was that time we took a chance and we wrote some different songs that in styles we had never done before. And then that gave us confidence to be like, all right, let's pick our favorite parts of Freak, and now let's really embrace those and come up with a new product. And we're so happy with how it turned out.
How would you say that Dave helped get you guys out of your comfort zone, and like what was that challenge that he made you guys do?
Ooh. I don't know. Dave is really good for me, especially like vocally. He kind of gives me confidence that sometimes I might not have in a certain time. He'd be like, hey, try this high part, you can do it. I'm like, can I? He is always pushing us to try new things, try new harmonies, try new sounds and textures. And I don't know, he's just really good about pushing us, but making us feel comfortable. He's easy to work with.
Yeah, I agree.
Would you say that you discovered yourself a little more vocally on this record, Josh? Like, just because it was, as you kind of mentioned, like he was having you try things that you didn't even know you can pull off.
Yeah, I think so. I think when I listen back to it now, I'm really proud of how those vocals turned out, and just like I really felt like I found my voice on this album. Things that were hard for me to do. Even Dave said it, like on Freak, things that would take a million takes to get one usable one when tracking Freak. Like this time was like, all right, now we got 10 good ones. Which one do we choose now? Like, what's the best one? Like, I think that I had grown a lot vocally, and Dave's a big part of that, and I'm just real happy with these vocals.
I feel like one of the things about being in this project or being together, like ever since you guys were so little, is or younger, I guess, like, is the fact that your voice changes, and I feel like that is kind of a scary thing, to go through the process. How did you learn to control your voice within every year that went by, that kind of changed within every song that you guys released?
Luckily, my voice hasn't changed that much since I was like 12. I didn't get I wasn't blessed with the baritone, thick sounding voice, But I think that I don't know, you just kind of have to just work with it and kind of learn what are your limits and what can you push. And I think us getting out on the road a lot with Freak really helped me gain some confidence, and just getting, for me, I've had a lot of people I can remember growing up tell me that like our band, it's cool, but I think we need a different singer, or they need a different singer. And like, we heard that all the time. And, sometimes that's hard to remind yourself, like, no, they don't know what they're talking about. I can do this. And it's really rewarding to see us sticking this out and doing this and growing has, gotten our band where we are.
Diamond, as far as your guitar goes, I mean, you've been doing this for a while now. Like, how do you not run out of material? And two, how do you get inspired to create different sounds with your guitar?
I mean, for me, I think I've always wanted to be known as like a very versatile player, kind of like when I started playing guitar, I obviously was super inspired by the shredders, Dimebag and Kirk Hammett and, Slash and all of those type of players, even from, Mark Morton's like Lamb of God, all that kind of stuff. But I always wanted to be known as like a player that was like just a well-rounded, like a really good player. So I want to be able to shred on things, but I also want to be able to add those creepy corn like effect sounds as well, and also be a great rhythm player when I need to be that. So I think for me it's kind of easy because I'm not like a one trick pony. Like I haven't boxed myself into where like, oh, I have to shred all over this entire song, or oh, I can't shred on this song at all. Like, I can do whatever serves the song and make fit whatever I want to make fit, whatever I'm feeling at that time. So it's not like I have to constantly do the same thing over and over again. Like I've kind of established myself as like a well-rounded player, I think. So that leaves it open for me to kind of do whatever I'm feeling.
And then same question with you as well, with Dave. Like, how did he help you step out of your comfort zone with this record?
I think with Dave it's cool because it's kind of like with vocals. He would say like, try this, or like, how would a faster run sound there, or like, how would adding like super weird glitchy sounds sound there. Like things that I wouldn't have thought about or wouldn't have had the confidence in trying. He did that. Even like I played rhythms with Josh as well on this whole record. Whereas on Freak, I believe he just played rhythms on pretty much most of the songs. So that was cool too, because we discovered that like we're very different rhythm players. So like he like, whereas I don't know, he might have a better right hand, I have a better left hand, and like it's just like things that complement each other that Dave has like kind of helped us find as well. So it was just like him kind of observing the way that I play and the way he plays, and kind of making suggestions based off that like maybe I wouldn't have thought of.
Now, as far as the sounds go, did you guys find yourselves creating a lot of these sounds on the record, like from scratch, not necessarily an instrument or something that you use in the studio?
A lot of the main effect that we use, like we call it the Freak tone because we use all over Freak too, but it kind of just came from like effects wise, me sitting in my bedroom with like pedals and a bunch of stuff and just tweaking things, not knowing what I'm doing, just tweaking stuff until it sounded super cool. Like I can literally do that all day. I think it's so much fun. Like I'm not a gear nerd or anything, but I love like finding weird sounds. So a lot of it like came from that, honestly. And then getting in the studio with Dave, like he helped us refine and like kind of figure out like what's the right way to compose these sounds, you know?
But it's funny, there's even like I can remember on Freak, like on was it Pull the Trigger or Break the Trend, one of those songs, like there was this really weird delay on the start of the song and on the demo, and we go to record it with Dave, and you're tracking with like a on a tempo and everything, and he put it to the grid, and it was like these delays it doesn't sound the same. And you go to Diamond's like weird, she didn't know what she's turning, it was just some weird millisecond that for whatever reason worked on that part, and like well, I guess we're doing that weird sound, and that you cannot make it sound the same when it's like too perfect, if that makes sense. So it's just cool. She's really good at experimenting and just coming up with stuff. We're not very technical, so we just turn knobs until it sounds good. That's honest.
And just hope you recorded it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of fans are talking about the breakdowns with this record. What was it like creating these breakdowns? And was this something that you guys created ahead of time as you guys were writing the music, or was this something that happened in the recording process?
During the writing process, I'd say, but we're such a live band. Like I said before, we put a lot of pride in our live performance and making sure we're entertaining the crowd, not just up there playing our guitars at our chest, like we want to like entertain the crowd and make sure they have a good time. So when we're writing the record, we wanted to make sure we were trying to come up with things that would translate live, that we knew like the crowd would really enjoy. And there's certain songs like Breakdown and I'm Not Right, or the ending part, Take a Look Inside, stuff like that we knew like, okay, this is gonna slam live, and so we implemented them kind of with that in mind, I would say.
Yeah.
They were definitely live. We had the live element in mind when we did it, but it was during the writing process.
Yeah, and I don't think we ever like would go into something like, this song needs a breakdown. It's just kind of a natural, I guess, where we would naturally want to hear if we were listening to a song. It would just take it. So we need this heavy part, and then they kind of turned out how they turned out. But like she said, with this album, I think we did a good job of capturing parts that we know we can play and sound big live and the crowds can get into. And I think that's why these songs are translating so well live currently on the shows we've done. Yeah.
You also have a lot of vulnerability coming out on this record. What was that writing process like? And was this a comfort level for you, or was this something that you had to learn to be okay with?
It's definitely, newer and something I think you just kind of grow into as, you mature as a songwriter and as a person, and, being able to be more open with, with feelings, or just with how, things you're dealing with in life, or things that are happening with, people you're close to around you. And this album was actually one of the first, I think it was the first time that a lot of these vocals for me were written with lyrics turned into melody versus melody turned into lyrics. I've always done, as far as I can remember, scat vocals of just like gibberish with melodies, and turn that and written lyrics around that. But this was the first album that I really wanted to work lyrically and be able to express myself, and take what I felt like were good, lyrics, and turn those into melodies. And I think it really worked out. So that was something I was really proud of with this one.
Was that scary? I feel like that must be scary, just because there is no other instrumentation. It's whatever you're writing down.
Yeah, I wouldn't say scary. It was just different. But as it started flowing, I started getting into like a zone with it. And I know that, I kind of work in, it drives some of them crazy sometimes, but I kind of work in spurts where it's like, I'm like, I will have a million things come to mind and just like crank out like 4 songs. And then I might look at them for 3 weeks and be like, I don't know. I've got nothing, And but it was cool this time. Like, I started to get a flow with it, and once I realized, okay, we're coming up with some cool stuff this way, I'm just going to continue, you know, with it. So it wasn't too scary. I mean, it's always scary writing vocals because that's what a lot of people are listening to. So you want to do as good a job as you can, but just happy with it.
What would you say was the most stressful song to kind of finalize on this record for each of you?
God.
To finalize, well, one never got finalized, and it just did not make that. There's one we tried we had recorded it, did everything, and it was going to be an 11th song on the album, and it just was not fitting. And we were just like, as soon as we got rid of that one and tried to stop fitting it in, it's like a breath of fresh air. And it was like, oh, the album's complete. But I would say I'm Not Right.
Yeah.
That was the very first demo and first song that we even ever started for this album. Like, I remember being here one night and we threw like the intro and verse together, and like we had this demo for the song for so long. And as the other demos came together and other songs came together, we started kind of being like, this one doesn't sound as heavy or as cool anymore, but we knew we wanted to keep it and keep working on it. And then once we started recording it, it was just sounding really heavy. And I know for Diamond, like the vocals on that one had to be perfect because she knew like the song could be really cool. And it was, I would say I'm Not Right. Like just trying to get the right vocals and the right vibe and the right everything. There's like 12 versions of that song in our Dropbox somewhere, just different middle sections.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like that song is like my child of the record. Like everybody has a song on the record that they just love so much, and that is mine. Like I just, there's so many reasons I can name why I love that song so much, but like it definitely was the song where when we started, when we first wrote the rhythms and stuff without the leads and vocals, everyone this slam. As we got put on the back burner, and as we started writing everything else, we were kind of like, even Dave was like, I don't know if that one should make the record. And I remember me and Josh were like, it's gonna make the record, but like we understood what he was saying it at that point, and then ended up coming back and being like the favorite. So it was because you did vocals for that one second to last, right?
Yeah, we had come back to LA, and it was just like we had tried some different stuff, and it just wasn't the right vibe for the song. And then we came back to LA, and I think it just helped kind of get a fresh, breath of air, and came up with those vocals. I remember sending Diamond what would ultimately be the chorus. I was like, hey, I don't know what you think of this idea, but this is kind of what I'm thinking. And she heard it and was like, that's it. That's the chorus. And from there, it was like, all right, now we can go. And then the song came together, and it was, it ended up being like the first one written and the last one done.
Yep.
When did you see the identity of the record? Did you have that in mind already, or did you guys kind of discover it throughout the recording process?
I feel like we had an idea before the record, kind of the direction we wanted to take it and the vibe we wanted to have. Um, Obviously, as the songs come together, that solidifies it more. You can only predict so much before the songs are done. But we had an idea of where we wanted to take it kind of before we started. And that kind of helped us when writing and like kind of putting together a whole product with the vision of it, kind of having an idea of how we wanted it to translate. I think we hit it pretty good. So
yeah, I think we wanted to make sure that, like I said, we wanted to make it kind of almost like Freak on steroids and take all the coolest elements of it and just make it all into one album. We've always been a band that we don't ever want to lose our heaviness and we're a metal band and that's who we are. And we were able to keep that identity while still putting songs like You Never Listen or Push Down or like something like that on the album. We were able to experiment while still sounding like ourselves. And that was the goal to me, was just to make something that's like cohesively Tetrarch, that has fast songs, that has mid-tempo songs, but you can throw them all in any different order and you're like, okay, this is the same band,
Right.
I love that you kind of take me into this world when I listen to the album, and then I'm sure it's the same thing when I catch you guys live later this year. But when you release these music videos, it's they all go hand in hand. So how much of an input do you guys have as a whole for the music video process as well? And how is it that you guys are able to kind of make it like it's like when you see a movie and then you read the book, it never like goes together, but like I feel like everything that you guys are releasing really goes together. So what is that process like?
I mean, we've always been like a super, super hands-on band. Like every band's very different. Some bands are just kind of like, tell us what we're doing and, we'll do it or whatever. We're very opposite. Like we have our nose in everything. And, with the belief that like, it's our band, everything, this is what represents us. This is how we make our living. This is our band and it's our say at the end of the day. Everything from the music to the videos to everything is 100% our say. If we don't like something, it's not going to go. So same with the videos, like Vicente's been great with us, like kind of helping us bring a visual to what we feel the song's about or how we think we want to portray it or whatever. So usually it's like he'll kind of help us come up with a treatment, or we'll tell him kind of what we're thinking and we'll put together a treatment and go from there. But we definitely are, like I said, we're super hands-on with everything. So it's always, what you see is always a good bit of what we want. It's never like something that we just kind of settle with or somebody else came up with for us.
Awesome. Now you guys are getting ready to get back on the road with the Atreyu next month. It's coming up really quick. What can your fans look forward to on this tour?
Just, you can expect us to go out there and put our all into every single note that we play every single night. We're going to try and put on a show. We love to play, but we do this for fans. We want it to just be like this big, just fun environment. We love the energy of crowds and we want to give them, a show. We don't just play to, listen to, be like, tell ourselves we're really good, we just want to put on a show. We want to entertain. And that's what you can expect. You can come to, at a Tetrarch show, you're going to move, you're going to throw your hands around, you're going to run into your friends. Like, it's just a fun atmosphere. And I think that people should be ready for a show.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for making this happen. Looking forward to catching your live show when you guys come here to the Observatory, which is like towards the end of the tour. So congratulations with the new record. And I'm very excited for, to see more and more evolution with the band. So thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Rob. We appreciate it.